Hello, this is the Tepid Coder. I'm going to continue where I left off in the last parsing video. By the end of this video, I think we should be pretty finished up. There are some things we can do to it, like adding a graphical user interface. And, if not that, at least making it so we can pass the log file we want to parse from the command line. So, let's actually get this going now. What I want to say is, we're going to load a file, and we're going to parse through it. So I'm going to say something like parse file. I'll even say parse log file, a little more explicit. I'm going to say const char star lpsc. We're going to say file path. Okay, I'm going to do finally standard fstream fs, construct it with lpsc file path, and it's going to be standard ios base in standard ios base binary. Why not? Okay. If not fs dot is open, I'm going to say standard error, CR rather, couldn't open whatever the file name is, which is lpsc file path. Okay, I'm going to return false, I'll say. So this needs to return a bool. Otherwise, return true because we're able to open it. Okay. Now we get to the fun part. Now we can actually define these regular expressions and worry about the state and all that fun stuff. So let's cut all this garbage out of here. Everything out of here. Okay. Just paste that in there. What did I call it? Parse log file with some path? Cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say parse log file. And I'm going to pass it argv1. Now, there's a different function signature I could use. I've been using void for all of these, but you can also say int argc for argument count and char star, let's say argv for arg value, like that. So it's a pointer, or it's an array of character pointers. And what this is going to give you is, this is going to be like your application name, like test.exe, right? The next is going to be first parameter, right? And second parameter, or argument I should say, because they're being passed. We could accept parameters, but they're passing arguments. I want to be, you know, really pedantic about it. Anyway, what I can say here is if argc is less than 2, then let's complain. We're going to say cout standard, let's do c error. Okay, error. I'm going to say argv0 expects 2 arguments, or 1 argument really, the name of the file to parse. Okay. I'm going to say the path to the log file to parse. Yeah, and argv0 here is referring, like I said, to whatever this application is called. So we're test.exe right here, which comes from testcp. Anyway, yeah. Otherwise, we did have an argument passed. We're going to use that argument as the log file to parse. So it's going to open that file and read from it. And for every line we get, we're going to run all this code. So I'm going to say something like standard string stir line. Okay, I'm going to say while true. I'm going to say stir line equals standard get line from the input stream is going to be fs. I think I should be able to do that. Okay. And before I do anything else, I'm actually going to just return true here and not worry about this code down here. I just want to see if I can do that. So standard cout, here's the line. Okay. Do stir line. Now I want to make a file to load for a second here, so, you know, let's call it log.txt or something. This is the first line. This is the second line. This is the third line. Okay. Test.cp. Let's actually compile this. Get line, I think, is all one word. See out, not declared in the scope. Right, it wouldn't be. Okay, so I guess I'll just pass that. Fine. I'm going to do standard ostream iterator type character reference see out. Okay. And we call this, let's actually pass that see out. Before I was saying it equals that, which I think it does return it too. Whatever. So let's see if it prints out the file. So I didn't, yeah, see, error. The whole path of this, the executable file you're running, expects one argument's the file path of file to parse. So test, I'm going to say log.txt. Here's the line, it's going on forever. That's cool. Okay. And I could just do this. Right, I mean, I kind of don't like that though. I prefer to do something like all true and say if not get line whatever, we're going to maybe return false if fs.bad. So if some kind of, I don't know, bad sector was reached or something that caused this problem, we're going to return false. I'm going to say standard error couldn't read from file. I'm going to say otherwise just break out of the loop and we're fine. We're done parsing. Let's try that. Yeah, so that still works. I'm going to leave it that way. I think it's just a superior way of doing it. So now I have the line that I'm parsing. Now down here is a lot of stuff to look at, but I could kind of wrap this into a class object and make this easier, but first I'm just going to kind of copy and paste it in there verbatim, or cut and paste rather. Just get it working first, and then start abstracting away. I think that's a better way to handle it. If I do too much abstraction all at once, it's going to be difficult to debug. So let's just paste that in there. Okay, I don't know what that was all about, but okay. This is kind of justification thing. Let's push this all over for now. Okay. I'll have to phase that way over later. Oh, you know what? Oh no, it was already pushed over. Because I had a fake while loop. Jeez, okay. What's this at right here? So if I'm in combat, is that where this ends? Right here? So if I'm in combat, then I check to see if combat ended. Right, so there's two more here. No. There we go. Otherwise, we're handling the DPS. Okay. That's for each thing of the file. Okay, and this I don't really need anymore because every single time combat ends, how am I going to word this? I'm going to have to dump this out every single time. So I'm just going to put this in like a lambda, I think. So let's do that over here somewhere. Let's just say auto fn dump parse. Dump DPS maybe, I don't know. Equals, I kind of want C out, so I need that. Void doesn't return anything. This is inside the loop, isn't it? Whatever. Let's cut all this out. Go above that loop. Above and beyond it. Oops, right there, okay. So we're gonna have the actor, we're gonna have... So I want map pumpers. I should define that up higher instead of inside the loop. Both these are gonna go way up top. Okay. That way I can reference it. Okay. What else do I have? Okay, yeah, these need to go up top. A lot of these do. I can just delete some of them now. Okay. I don't care about actually matching these anymore. So I can make the expressions. I'm not actually going to try and match them anymore, because I know they work. Okay, same thing here. Okay. Okay. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that. Okay. So now I have all the expressions I care about. Cool. And here, what I want is to dump the DPS. Anything I need to pass to that, really? Where is it? Where did I define that? Where's my lambda? Here it is. So I didn't say any arguments. It's going to look at map pumpers, and that's it, really. And I think every single time I do that, I need to destruct the object as well. Okay, so I'm showing the line just for debugging. And then, what am I doing here? Let's make format args, okay. And then, after this, I'm going to say map pumpers.clear. So basically it's going to set this standard map of string actor to pumper back to its initial state, right? So it's going to be an empty map. Okay, the next time it starts parsing stuff, it needs to be in combat. Yeah, next time it's going to create some more actors again for the next parse. It might be alive for that fight and around. So in combat's false here because we just ended the combat. Okay, and otherwise we're adding lines. So we try to parse combat end if we're in combat. Otherwise, or even if we are in combat already, this may not have triggered. Yeah, so just try this as well. Hey, future topic cutter here. I realized after I finished that last video that I wasn't, what do I say, always using the right start time. So if I'm already in combat, so be in combat, I really should be using something different. It's like time t, tt, then let's say, just have this defined. And right here I want to say tt then. That's what I'm going to use. But I only want to use this if I wasn't already in combat. So if not be in combat, then I'm going to mem copy into this from tt then size of time t. There. So I'm always going to get the time if I want it from this being parsed. And if it did actually parse something, that'll be filled. But I don't actually want to set my start time unless I wasn't already in combat. Reference it. There we go. This is going to continue if we ended combat because that's the line we just parsed. The next one might be one we need to deal with. Okay, so while we're still parsing lines from the file. Okay. And inside the file there isn't anything of interest yet. Okay, stir slay, not declaring the scope. Fair enough. Because what I actually need to match against is just called stir line in both cases. So over here, don't care about any of that. We just care about stir line. And we need to start out not in combat. Because that was just for test before. Okay. Clear. Compile it. Okay, it's not going to find anything. Good. So, bear with me for a second. I need to copy a log file. And I want to make it have a name that is anonymize, because I got this log from a friend of mine. I don't want to dox any of his characters. I'm just going to call it log.txt. Okay, I'm going to cut this. I'm going to paste it into my project here. Epic coder. What do I call this? Regex parser. Okay, let's dump that in here. I'm going to paste it. We'll write that file. Alright, let's not show that line real quick. The line that I'm parsing. So, what I want to do here is I want to say, where is it? For every line that I load, I don't actually want to show the whole line that I loaded. Yeah. Okay, so it's never detecting that combat ends. That's never happening. So right here, that's the problem. Both these need to be defined above the file. Okay. I'll put them right above the loop. So I can kind of see what's happening inside loop. It involves these, whereas, like, for the whole function, maybe these are happening. And it has to be referenced here, whereas these, you know, these over here don't have to be referenced here. Okay. Okay. That's disappointing. So let me check something here. If we see a DPS line, I'm going to say standard cout. DPS line was parsed. Okay. And in here, I'm going to say zone or slay line was parsed. Nope, doesn't notice any of them. Well, that's interesting. These should definitely match that regular expression. I'll think about that for a second. There might be like a line break at the end or something weird. Yeah, these should match. But none of these are ever matching. What if I do this, just out of curiosity? Standard cout. DPS line didn't match. I'm going to do the same thing up here, I think. This only happens if you're in combat. But if we're in combat, I want to say... we're in combat. Combato. Okay. Break out of that. So nothing is matching. That makes me think I probably should be using regex search instead, because it's probably grabbing a line plus like a line break at the end or something stupid. But I could be cheesy with this. Let's say after I get the line, stir line dot back. If stir line dot back equals that, or you know, I'm gonna actually grab the character from it. Char c back equals this. But even then, I still need to check to see if there's a size. So if stir line dot empty. So if it's not empty, then I can actually access the back without worrying about undefined behavior. Yeah, then get the back, then if c back equals \r or c back equals \n, then we're going to say stir line dot erase. I'm going to say stir line dot size -1. That's the offset. So I should be able to do that. And I'll delete one character from there. Yeah. So. There we go. Now it's working. That's exactly what happened. It was leaving the line break in there. Not a huge fan of that. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, didn't match. Don't really want to look at that. Bugging out a bit right now. Hey, look at that. So we have some pumper. You dealt damage with two methods. You bash for 1,434 damage, and you slash for 3,842 points of damage. Pumper actor, Zberker, damage with three methods. It bashed, it kicked, and it bit for 24, 201, and 1685. Alright. Yeah. Now all that's left is to look at the DPS for each of these total damages. So now I need to look at, where is the total time elapsed? I definitely put that in here, didn't I? Yeah, right here, okay. Cool, so now I can say, ooh, I'm excited. I'm actually going to pass the elapsed seconds to here. DBL elapsed seconds. Put it in my little lambda. I already had a little lambda. Okay. So elapsed seconds. What do I put in here? So much DPS. Here we go. 54 damage divided by number of seconds elapsed. In fact, I want to say over that many seconds. I'll put that in there too. Yeah. I want to put 0.0f. I don't want any like precision issues. And this needs to be treated like a UN64T. Okay. I mean, it's always going to be a whole number of seconds anyway, just based on the way I'm parsing the log, but still. Elapsed seconds is 0. That's not good. So if it's 0, I'm just going to divide it by 1. So DBL elapsed seconds. If not that, then set it to 1. 0. By default, that's a double. Put an F here, it's a float. Okay, anyway. Oh, look at that. All that DPS, dude. Over 1 second, 1 second. Looks like combat ending is happening pretty quickly. A lot of these must be really weak targets. Here's 103 seconds. So it's encrypted. Actor A. So some of these are getting parsed a bit wonky. So I'm going to copy this a little bit and see if I can find that in the log file. See if we can fix that. That is not what I typed. Conscripted for... Conscripted? A conscripted Spyrock. So hit. What am I searching for in my regular expression? Let's take a look. Okay. At some date and time, so-and-so, method, whatever, not a number, right, over here. Where is it? There's where the bracket ends, okay. I want just this one over here. So, we have a space, the person's name, the method, okay, and then we have space, and then anything that's not a number, until we see a number. Oh, of non-melee damage is what it also could be. So instead of points of damage, it could also be points of non-melee damage. Okay. So let's try that. We'll update here. Points of. Okay. Non-melee damage. I'm going to put escape there. Now if I think about this, there's going to be a space right here. But if this is here, it needs another space, and then a space after it. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Now these fights are lasting a little bit longer, it seems like. Zero DPS. Hit for 100 points of damage. 0 DPS in 351 seconds. I'm guessing it was such a small amount of damage that it just ended up being 0. That's kind of funny. So let me do something else here. Instead of truncating this by making them both unsigned 64 integers, I'll make them both doubles. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I should probably specify the precision. That's kind of annoying. I'm gonna say it can have. Jeez. I only want 1 decimal place of precision, honestly. Okay. Sort of round up basically to the nearest 10th place. I want to see multiple sources though. Do any of these have more than one method? In fact, grab the scroll bar here, click, enter. And I can just do notepad, paste. I'll just search for, what is it? 1 method? Yeah, let's try 2 methods. Doesn't exist. How about 3? No. 4, no, 5. So I think that last change I did, where I have non-melee. Wait, what? Oh, it's non-melee with a escape. Yeah. Right. So I'm only looking at the non-melee damage. That's optional. I'll put a question mark there. Okay. Now I should be seeing some more methods. Test. Oops. I need to say log.txt. Let's see some more methods. 2 methods. Here we go. So we got kicks and we got hits. That's much better. But yeah, so that's how you can write a log parser. There's some things I can do here where, like, right now it's obviously letting me put what log file I want based on just like a command line argument. I could make it a UI application and make it so I could just load the log file and parse it when you tell it to. I could also make it so that it's constantly checking to see the file size changed, and if it did, read any new content. And anytime the state changes to where the combat ends because someone or something was slain, every time I detect combat ends, I would just make it so there's a new entry somewhere in the window showing like a new fight. And one thing I should probably do is like show what the thing is, like a goblin. So actor A. Obviously the actor is not called A. I guess this is talking about the thing that was being attacked, right? The goblin did 34 points of damage to the members of the group that were fighting it, right? That's why it's picking that up. That's kind of funny, like how much DPS that the enemy is doing is being picked up. So pumper actor Anne. So there's something else involved in this fight too. It was more than one NPC in the pool rather. So Anne elite something or other. A goblin, an elite, and then here's pumper, named Zero Kind. Okay, so he hit. you, which should also be whoever this log file is from. I'm not going to say who. Anybody who knows me can guess, though. So you convulse, points of damage, kick, you slash. Convulse must be a spell. Huh. Anyway, I've gone past the purview of code at this point. I'm going to have to crop a bunch of this out. But if you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up. If you like to see more content like this, then I would say consider subscribing. If you have any comments, criticisms, just feedback in general, just thoughts about this, feel free to post those in the comments. I'd like to get all of your thoughts on this. And I guess I will see you guys later. Happy coding.